Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. We welcome devotees from other batches for this important discussion topic on offenses to avoid. We welcome all devotees, not just the newcomers. So, the nectar of devotion invocation prayers are slightly different, and I will have it on screen as well, and you can follow along. Those of you who know you can also recite at your respective places. So I will recite. Nana Shastra Vicharinako Nipano Saddharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarano Tribhuvane Manyo Saryankarano Radha Krishna Padar Vinda Bhajana Anandena Mataliko Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we will discuss offenses to avoid topic. It's a very important topic. Majority of our spiritual advancement happens by not doing offenses. So those of you who might listen to this topic for the first time, my first point to you is do not get scared from what you are about to read and listen. So what happens in Nectar of Devotion? So this topic is from Nectar of Devotion. Bhagavad Gita provides principles, and the practice of those principles is in Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion. In Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 6 provides 64 items of devotional services that we can do and we should do so that our 24-hour day becomes Krishna conscious and our senses are engaged, mind, senses and body are engaged in Krishna's activities 24 hours. So chapter 6 gives a laundry list of 64 items of devotional services. And then from chapter 7 onwards in Nectar of Devotion, a few of these items in each chapters are described in detail. From the 64 items of devotional service, the first 10 items are items to do, and the next 10 items are items to avoid. So then the chapters goes on to describe each of these items. Now, item number 19 from the 64 items is offenses to avoid. Now, this item, offenses to avoid, is such an important item that a whole chapter number 8 is assigned to this item in Nectar of Devotion. So this is a very, very important topic of offenses to avoid, and I will repeat what I have learned and heard from previous acharyas. It is very important not to do offenses because bulk of our spiritual growth, meaning majority, more than 90-95% of our spiritual growth, is by not doing offenses. So we do not have to be afraid of these offenses. Rather, to avoid these offenses, we have to be conscious of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. And we have to be respectful to Krishna and Krishna's devotees, then we will not commit these offenses. Now, I will first describe some background details about offenses, and then we will get into the specific laundry list of offenses. Now, offenses. The Sanskrit word is aparad. It comes from Radha. So Radha means Srimati Radharani, under whom we do devotional services, and apa means to take away. So offenses or aparad means that which takes us away from Srimati Radharani or takes us away from devotional services. Now I'll explain the offenses with a bucket analogy. So whatever devotional services you do, such as you chant japa, you read scriptures, you do devotional services, all these positive items are like pouring water into a bucket. Into your spiritual bucket, you are pouring spiritual credits. It's water poured in your spiritual bucket. And offenses means I am punching holes in this bucket. By punching holes, my water or my devotional credit is getting drained out. So both things are important. I have to continue to pour water into the bucket, meaning I have to continue to do chanting, read scriptures, do devotional services. And simultaneously, I also have to not do offenses, meaning I do not have to punch holes in the bucket. Now, pap or sin and punya means pious activities. Pap and punya are at material level. Now, you cannot continue to do pap, you cannot continue to do sinful activities because sinful activities has its negative consequences. Now, aparad or offenses are more harmful and more dangerous than sin because aparad is anti-devotional. Therefore, one has to be very, very careful to not commit offenses. Offenses means we disrespect that which should be respected. Again, don't fear these offenses, rather cultivate a respectful attitude because our scriptural study, such as Bhagavad Gita study, is meant for us to transform. The primary focus of this discussion on offenses to avoid is to treat Krishna and Krishna's devotees respectfully. Now, the common principle in the list of offenses that we will soon read from the screen, the common principle is to be respectful so that we are remembering Krishna 24 hours. If we are remembering Krishna, then automatically we will avoid these offenses. If one commits offenses, then the result of offenses is that we don't experience any taste in devotional service. And if we don't experience taste, then we cannot continue very long in devotional environment because we need happiness. And simultaneously, material taste props up and we get attracted to material taste. Plus, when we commit offenses, anarthas develop. So what's the meaning of anartha? Artha means something that has meaning. And anartha means something that has no meaning, but we have given meaning to it. The 6 famous anarthas develop of lust, anger, envy, greed, pride, and illusion. Then it becomes very hard to do devotional service. So anarthas act as barriers to the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It has no effect because of these barriers. Because the barriers stop the potency of Hare Krishna Mahamantra from going to the heart. The result of anarthas is the ignorance becomes strong and devotional service becomes weak. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations so far. All right. So now categories of offenses. One category is seva aprad, means offenses in deity worship or offenses while doing any services. If offenses are committed while worshipping Gopinath or while doing any services, and if you then chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra attentively and pray to Krishna for forgiveness, then Krishna will forgive for those offenses committed while worshipping Gopinath or while doing services. Meaning, the holy name, meaning the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is far more merciful than Krishna himself. Now, just because the holy name is merciful does not mean I have to be careless in Gopinath worship or I have to be careless in my services. Now, from the Toronto area, those who are able to go to the area outside of altar on the back side, you will notice that on the fridge and on the wall, there are mantras posted to ask for forgiveness. So pujaris chant these mantras for asking for forgiveness after every service. And then the another category of offenses is nam aprad, means offenses against chanting the holy name. When we start chanting, we are bound to do offenses, although we should try not to do offenses. Now, chanting with offenses does not contaminate the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It is just that my chanting is impure. By avoiding offenses, we are trying to make our chanting pure. When chanting without offenses, then one can get Krishna's lotus feet. Still, still you should chant, even though you may be doing offenses right now while chanting. You should continue to chant, because chanting with offenses is better than not chanting at all, because offensive chanting is going to take you to pure chanting. Example to understand this is a child who is trying to walk and he will keep falling. So if the child says that I will not walk at all because I keep falling, well, then he will never learn to walk. For the child to learn to walk, yeah, he has to continue to walk even though he may be falling. So similarly, we have to continue to do our chanting even if it is offensive, because offensive chanting is not useless. But understand that offensive chanting will take a long time to purify. Plus, of course, we discussed that offensive chanting will take you to pure chanting. You just have to be conscious that you are offensive while chanting, and you have to rectify your situation while chanting. I'll pause here for any questions, comments, realization so far.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Any
What is offensive chanting?
We'll discuss. There are 10 offenses against chanting the holy name. Is coming up very soon on our screens.
Okay.
Now, offensive chanting. So there are different stages of chanting. One is offensive chanting, then is cleansing stage, and then is pure stage. So offensive chanting, I briefly described, and we will discuss the 10 offenses against chanting, what Janisha is just asking in our discussion today. We'll soon discuss. Now, cleansing stage is that you have a little bit of taste. Offenses have stopped to a certain level, to a large level. And this cleansing stage is very high and a very important stage. Now, getting to this point is very hard. And to understand this with an example is that, say, when an airplane takes off, there is a lot of turbulence till the airplane reaches cruising height. And then the pure chanting or the pure stage is, in the airplane example, is that you have reached cruising height and you are just cruising. Now, offenseless chanting can get you liberation, but it is only pure chanting that will get you love of God. Offenseless chanting means you have no false ego. The symptoms of offenseless chanter are given from Shishashtakam, that he thinks himself lower than grass, is tolerant than a tree, does not expect personal honor, and is prepared to give respect to others. So the 4 symptoms of offenseless chanter are: he is humble, he is tolerant, he is prideless, and he gives respect to others. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, a prominent spiritual master in ISKCON, he used to send day-to-day message for the day. One of his message was, our goal should be not only to chant, rather it should be to improve the quality of chanting. Meaning we have to constantly endeavor to improve the quality of our chanting. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations before we start reading from the screen the list of offenses. All right. So I will get everybody to read from the screen whatever is highlighted. So this is Nectar of Devotion, chapter number 8, and offenses to avoid are listed in this chapter, and I have simply extracted with a cut and paste from the chapter onto the slide, and we'll read directly from the slide. And as we go through these list of offenses, we will pause and discuss some important ones. Many of them are straightforward, but feel free to ask any and all questions as we go along. Gauri?
Prabhuji, what is the third category? Seva Aprad, Nam Aprad, and?
I only discussed these two categories.
Okay, okay. So there is no third category?
So we are only discussing what what is palatable for us and what is very common for us. Keep going in detail. There are the rules and regulations are in thousands.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
So Chaitanya Prabhu, you can read what is highlighted from the screen. Okay. Chandar, you can read from the screen.
Hare Krishna, Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. In the supplementary Vedic literature, there is the following list of 32 offenses in the matter of serving the Lord. Number one should not enter the temple of the deity in a car or palanquin or with shoes on the feet. Number two, one should not fail to observe the various festivals for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such as Janmashtami and Rath Yatra. Number three, one should not avoid bowing down before the deity. Number four, one should not enter the temple to worship the Lord without having washed one's hands and feet after eating. Number five, one should not enter the temple in a contaminated state. According to Vedic scripture, if someone dies in the family, the whole family becomes contaminated for some time, according to its status. For example, if the family is Brahmana, their contamination period is 12 days. For the Kshatriya and Vaishnavas,
Not Vaishnava.
it's 13 days, and for Shudras, 30 days.
Yeah, so
15.
for Kshatriya and Vaishya is 15 days, not Vaishnava. So it's for Vaishya, 15 days. And for
Vaishyas,
Shudra is 30 days. So
sorry,
many
Hare
of these are straightforward points. I'm pretty sure everybody would want to have some understanding about number 5, that if somebody dies in the family in this contaminated state, I should not go to the temple for 30 days because most of us are Shudras. So the reason why we should avoid to go in front of Gopinath and avoid doing services at the temple when somebody dies in the family is that generally when we have close relation and somebody from a close relation leaves the body, our mind gets agitated. And in that agitated mind, we may go in front of Gopinath and end up chastising Gopinath that, why did you take so-and-so person away from me? Well, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He knows what is right, what is wrong. But because we are in our contaminated state, our mind is agitated, we may therefore end up chastising, therefore end up committing an offense. So the simple way to avoid offense is to not go to the temple in front of Gopinath. So the restriction is to not go in front of Gopinath and not do services at the temple. You can still go to the temple, other parts of the temple, to say meet with devotees and get guidance from devotees. That is okay. Just don't go in front of Gopinath. I will pause here for questions, comments, realizations. Chandar?
Prabhuji, this is the time when if somebody dies in the family, I think this is the time when person needs the more affection from Krishna or Bhagavan to put hand on him or her. And this is really unusual, what you're saying, not to go to the temple or not to go in front of the Gopinath. And my second question is...
So let me first answer the first one.
Okay.
So what Chandar is saying is very common statement and very common inquiry. So we have been living life without scriptural reference. And what we are reading comes directly from scriptures. I have not made it up. It's coming directly from scriptures. And scriptures are saying for 30 days, you are in a contaminated state. Your mind is agitated. So you can still go to the temple, other places. For example, you want some guidance that how do I control my mind? How do I get less agitated? You need guidance from senior devotees. Yeah, go to the temple, other areas of the temple where you can meet and discuss with devotees. Just don't go in front of Gopinath. That's the point being made. Because in my agitated state, I do not remember that I am agitated and I am cursing God, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is 100% in knowledge, who knows what is right, what is wrong. And I, in my contaminated state, I am cursing God. That's the point being discussed here, that don't create a situation for yourself of committing an offense. Chanda, does that help you and your further question otherwise?
When you, Prabhuji, when you say committing mistake in front of Gopinath, actually the person must be crying or down from the heart, and Krishna is in the heart, right?
Yes. So in when you are down, you don't recall or you don't remember what exactly actions you are taking with your words, with your mind, right? So that's the point. Scriptures are creating a fence so that we don't commit an offense, so that we don't punch holes in our devotional bucket. Chandar?
Thank you, Prabhuji. And my second question is, number 4, it's saying like when we eat, we should wash our hands and feet. I can understand the hands because we were eating with the hands. Why feet?
Yeah, so feet also get contaminated. So what it says is one should not enter the temple without washing hands and without washing your feet after eating. So when you eat, you basically get a lot of contamination. So those of you who do services with me at the Toronto temple, I have taught you all to do Achman. Achman is a simple process to purify your body. One of the way Achman starts is we wash our hands and we wash our feet with few drops. So we are not touching our feet. With the few drops, with chanting mantras, We are cleaning our hands and feet and our body. So there is a process given the Achman to get your hands and feet washed with just few drops of water. Chanda?
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
All right, we'll continue reading the next set of verses. Devraj, is it, or is it Archana? You can read from the screen, the highlighted. Archana?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. 6 point. One should not bow down on one hand. 7 point. One should not circumambulate in front of Sri Krishna. The process of circumambulate the temple is that one should begin circumambulate from the deity right hand side of the temple and come round. Such circumambulance should be performed outside the temple structure at least 3 times daily. 8 point. One should not spread his leg before the deity. 9 point. One should not sit before the deity holding the ankle, elbows, and or knee with one hand. Point 10. One should not lay down before the deity of Krishna.
So you will notice that when you go to the temple, all those who do not study scriptures, they do all these mistakes. So from this point on, you all do not do these mistakes. In terms of circumambulation, you will see many devotees, they are coming to the temple for many years, but they have never studied scriptures. So they circumambulate in front of Gopinath. Scriptures are clearly saying, do not circumambulate in front of Gopinath. You have to circumambulate from outside. So those of you who have seen the Gopinath Bhoga offering demo from my home temple, I have left space at my home temple on the backside so that I can circumambulate from outside of the temple. And at the temple, for example, Toronto temple, you can circumambulate from outside on the streets. I have also done it. Many have done it. The street goes right in a circle right outside, and the circumambulation has to be in a clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise is inauspicious. And sitting in the temple clearly says, don't spread your legs, don't hold your ankles and elbows or knees. You will notice many would be doing these because they don't read scriptures and they just continue to do these mistakes. Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So for the 9 point, we should not even hold a knee with one hand. Even that count while doing japa too, right?
You are correct.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Lara?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I had a question for first point regarding not to enter the temple in a car, and regarding the shoes. At the Toronto temple, there are steps before you enter into the actual temple.
Yeah.
Is it okay to wear shoes on those steps going in or remove?
Yeah, that's okay. So you climb the steps with the shoes on.
Okay.
You'll drop the shoes just where the shoe area is. Now,
Yeah.
on the Toronto temple, there is a lobby outside the temple room.
Yes.
When Gopinath doors are open, you should not walk with your shoes even in the lobby.
Okay.
If you have to carry your shoes, then carry them in your hand. Don't have them on your feet. Or just leave the shoes in the shoe area or enter from another. There are 2 other doors also. Enter from other doors. So for example, if you have to go for services in the basement, so generally sometimes what happens is, say I come at a time when the middle door or the side door is not open. So I will enter from the main door, leave my shoes there. I will go down 1 step, open the middle door, Then I will come back up, put my shoe on, and then enter from the middle door so that I can go down and take off my shoes down. But I won't walk in the lobby with my shoe on when the Gopinath doors are open. When Gopinath doors are closed, that's a different story. You can walk in the lobby with the shoes on. Dara?
Yes, yes,
Chandar?
Prabhuji, thank you. And sorry,
Dara, continue first.
regarding going to the temple in a car, so we should not do that?
So, so this is outdated. It says
Okay.
car or palanquin. Now, if you ask many, what is a palanquin, they will not even know. Or if you ask many about typewriter, they will not even know. So these points are there from historical scriptures. When the temple were built in a way where you could drive directly in a car right in front of Gopinath, but that doesn't exist. So you can drive with your car, park your car just outside the temple, and then walk.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Chandar?
Prabhuji, I just want to ask you, what about if a person is handicapped?
So these rules are in general. There are exceptions for handicap, right? You cannot apply the handicap rules for yourself if you are not handicapped. So for example, one of the rules says, do not bow down on one hand. Now, there is actually a devotee in the Toronto temple who is handicapped. Now, it doesn't apply to him. So those are exceptions. And it's okay for them to just bow down with folded hands. Or even the Dharmaprana Prabhu, who has one side of his body as handicapped because of a stroke, well, he can't even fold his hand because his one hand is completely gone. Well, he will just fold hand with, or just bow down with his head down. That is good enough. So those are exceptions for those who are handicapped. Chandar?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right, we'll continue reading and discussing. Diksha will read. Sorry, Dhara is next. Dhara.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. One should not accept prasad before the deity. One should never speak a lie before the deity. One should not talk very loudly before the deity. One should not talk with others before the deity. One should not cry or howl before the devotee. Hare Krishna.
So honoring prasadam. So you will notice that Sunday feast, they will have the doors closed and then distribute prasadam. Or say, for example, today is Narsimha Chaturdashi, where you have extended program. So when the 8 o'clock aarti finishes in the Toronto temple and the doors close after that, then they start serving prasadam. Why? Because we should not eat or honor prasad in front of Gopinath. And the other point about crying. So you can cry in ecstasy, that's okay. You can cry for services, that's okay. How to serve Krishna, you cry, that is okay. It's just that normal crying for material miseries or crying to complain about others, don't do that. Questions, comments, realizations? All right. Next verses, Diksha will read. They are straightforward, 16 to 20. Diksha.
Hare Krishna. One should not quarrel or fight before the deity. One should not chastise anyone before the deity. One should not be charitable to beggars before the deity. One should not speak very harshly to others before the deity. One should not wear a fur blanket before the deity.
Straightforward. Any questions for this? Monarch, Mansi.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have a question regarding point number 14. One should not talk with others before deity. Prabhu, what if the matter is related to Krishna or other devotees? Then can we talk about that matter?
Yeah, one should not talk refers to mundane talk. You can glorify Krishna in front of Gopinath. That's perfect.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Very good.
All right. Gauri will read next set of verses from the screen.
21. One should not eulogize or praise anyone else before the deity. 22. One should not speak any ill names before the deity. 23. One should not pass air before the deity. 24. One should not fail to worship the deity according to one's means. 25. One should not eat anything that is not offered first to Krishna.
So I already explained about Monad Prabhu's question that do not praise anyone else. You can praise Gopinath. You can praise others outside the temple room, just not in front of Gopinath. You can praise the service of a devotee rather than the devotee. Of course, glorifying spiritual master who are devotees is a different category. But in general, try to praise Gopinath while you are in the temple room, and not others. Questions, comments, realizations? Chandran Prabhu? Matan?
Hare Krishna. Number 26. One should not fail to offer fresh fruit and grains to Krishna according to the season. 27. After food has been cooked, no one should be offered any foodstuff unless it is first offered to the deity. 28. One should not sit with his back toward the deity. 29. One should not offer obeisances silently to the spiritual master, or in other words, one should recite aloud the prayers to the spiritual master while offering obeisances. 30. One should not fail to offer some praise in the presence of the spiritual master. 31. One should not praise himself before a spiritual master. 32. One should not deride the demigods before the deity.
So again, are pretty straightforward. In terms of sitting with your back, so you will notice at temple that many sit with the back to Prabhupada or with the back to Gopinath when Gopinath doors are open. On a go forward basis, you do not do it. You are learning you do it properly, that you do not show your back to Prabhupada, do not show your back to any of the altars. So I've described this when we have discussed how to offer obeisances. I've described that when you are walking, so I've given the example from the Toronto temple that you walk diagonally to avoid showing your back to any of the altars and even to Prabhupada. And when you have to turn, I've described that you go past the altars and then turn around this from the side so that you are not showing your back to any of the altars and not to Prabhupada. Now, in terms of praise, you should not praise yourself. Now, you can say, I got an opportunity to do so and so service, instead of praising yourself. Specifically say in front of spiritual master. Questions, comments, realizations? All right, we'll continue reading. Mayank Prabhu will read from the screen.
One should not touch the deity in a dark room. One should not fail to strictly follow the rules and regulations in worshipping the deity. One should not enter the temple of the deity without first making some sound. One should not offer any foodstuff to the deity which has been seen by dogs or the lower animals. One should not break silence while worshipping.
So So pretty straightforward in terms of knocking before entering the temple room. I had shown you this when I had shown you how to offer obeisances. So it comes right from scriptures that you make some sound, either you knock at the door or you clap hands or you just say Hare Krishna before you enter the temple room. Questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, what does the first point mean? One should not touch the deity in a dark room.
Yeah, so that you don't go in a dark room and touch. You should have some light on because it's reciprocation. So of course he can see you, but we should try to respect him and offer obeisances when there is light, or even when we are changing. So those who are priests doing deity worship, they change clothes and do direct services. There should be light on.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Sundar?
Prabhuji, can you little bit tell us about this regarding this Purana, what it's coming from?
So there are many Puranas, and Varaha Purana is one of them. We don't have to get into details of Purana. Whatever is given in Puranas that is bhakti related, that is already placed in specifically in Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures. So we just have to focus on what is relevant for us. So Srila Prabhupada has given us what is relevant for us rather than trying to study every scripture. If you try to study every scripture, you will need more than few lifetimes to first even study, and understand and implementation is again more lifetimes. So
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So Prabhupada has said that, okay, he's giving this list of offenses from so-and-so Purana. But we don't have to get into the details of what the Purana says.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yeah.
So the point like is saying we should not eat without offering Krishna. If someone is traveling for a long hour flights and in the flight the foods are not allowed, so how in that circumstances, how the devotee will be rich?
So if you are traveling in a flight, you can first offer bhoga at your home temple and then carry that as prasad.
But
and
in
you
the
can
flight,
honor prasad. Let me finish. You can honor that as prasad. And if it is not allowed for you to take outside food, you can carry apples or some fruit. You can offer that while you are in an airplane. You can carry Hare Krishna Mahamantra card and offer it to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Or even say if you get the fruits from the airplane, I mean the other food could be a big challenge because they are prepared, that is prepared by Karmi people. You cannot offer that to Gopinath. You can take water and fruit that you can, or even juice that you can offer to Gopinath, and you can honor that as prasad. But many spiritual masters, I mean, I've given you a way out. Many spiritual masters, even though they travel every week, I mean, we may travel once a year. Spiritual masters travel every week in long flights from point A to point B. Generally, they don't eat anything from outside. They will honor prasad before boarding the plane. And when they reach the destination, devotees are there and they will honor prasadam that is prepared by devotees. My spiritual master, I'll give an example. So he comes from California. The flight is about 5 hours. Plus you have a couple hours at the starting airport and a couple hours at the destination airport. So my spiritual master and his wife, they will honor the prasad before leaving. And when they reach the temple, they will honor prasad after they reach the temple here in Toronto, which is reasonable. I mean, it still is 6+ hours or so, but it's once a time. You can survive or you can carry fruit. And similarly, when my spiritual master goes back, we pack prasad. So we offer, we prepare items that can be carried instead of soup or something. No, we'll make bread like some item or something dry that the spiritual master can carry. So they will carry because there is waiting time to board the plane. So they will check in everything and then they will honor that prasad because they may not allow to carry in the plane. But they are still having prasad. So you can work your schedule accordingly. Archana?
Yes, very good.
Everybody on the same page? All right, so I want Ritu to go to Nectar of Devotion, chapter 8 and paragraph number 4. I won't have it on screen, but you can read and those can follow. Paragraph number 8, which starts in the Padma Purana. Read that paragraph.
Hare Krishna. In the Padma Purana, it is stated that even a person whose life is completely sinful will be completely protected by the Lord if he simply surrenders unto him. So it is accepted that one who surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes free from all sinful reactions. And even when a person becomes an offender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he can still be delivered simply by taking shelter of the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In other words, the chanting of Hare Krishna is beneficial for eradicating all sins. But if one becomes an offender to the holy names of the Lord, then he has no chance of being delivered. Hare Krishna.
I described this that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is more merciful than the Lord. And if you are doing any of these offenses and then you chant attentively the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then you get relief. But soon we will discuss the 10 offenses against chanting the holy name. Then you have little to no solution available for this. Questions, comments, realizations? All right, let's finish reading and many of these points. See, Monarch Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. 6. One should not pass urine or evacuate while engaged in the worshipping. 7. One should not offer incense without offering some flower. 8. Unless flowers without any fragrance should not be offered. 9. One should not fail to wash his teeth very carefully every day. 10. One should not enter the temple directly after sexual intercourse. Hare Krishna.
So pretty straightforward verses that you have to be in a clean state around Gopinath. Mansi will read the next.
11. One should not enter the temple after touching a woman during her menstrual period. 12. One should not enter the temple after touching a dead body. Number 13. One should not enter the temple wearing garments of red and blue color of garments which are unwashed. 14. One should not enter the temple after seeing a dead body. 15. One should not pass air within the temple. Hare Krishna.
Again, straightforward. Any questions, comments, realizations? Padma Kumar Prabhu.
One should not be angry within the temple. One should not enter the temple after
But
visiting
Padma
while
Kumar Prabhu, your
sitting
voice
area.
is not
One
clear.
should not.
Padma Kumar Prabhu, your voice is not clear. We'll let Paulomi read.
One
Paulomi, you can please read. Padma Kumar's voice is not very clear.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. One should not be angry within the temple. One should not enter the temple after visiting a crematorium. One should not belch before the deity. So until one has fully digested his food, he should not enter the temple. One should not smoke marijuana or ganja. One should not take opium or similar intoxicants.
All right, straightforward points. Questions, comments, realizations. Priyadarshini.
Hare Krishna. One should not enter the deity room or touch the body of the deity after having smeared oil over his body. One should not show disrespect to a scripture teaching about the supremacy of the Lord. One should not introduce any opposing scripture. One should not chew betel before the deity. One should not offer a flower that was kept in an unclean pot. Hare Krishna.
Okay, again, are pretty straightforward verse points. Raksha.
One should not worship the Lord while sitting on the bare floor. One must have a sitting place or carpet. 27. One should not touch the deity before one has completed taking bath. 28. One should not decorate his forehead with the 3-line tilaka. 29. One should not enter the temple without washing his hands and feet. Hare Krishna.
All right, again, are pretty straightforward. So tilak, one has to put Vaishnav tilak and not the 3-line tilak. Any questions, comments, realizations before we discuss the 10 offenses against chanting the holy name? So what we discussed so far are largely about seva aprad in terms of on our day-to-day interactions in our services. And now we'll discuss offenses against chanting the holy name. And I'll pause here for any questions, comments, realizations.
Hare Krishna. Number 28, where does the 3 lines come from? Like, is it like demigod worshippers?
It's some other process. They put the 3-line tilak. I've seen many places. I don't know where it originates, but we should focus on Vaishnav tilak. All right, Chandra.
Prabhuji, the tilak you are saying like Vaishnav tilak, what is the difference between the 3 lines and this Vaishnav tilak?
So Vaishnav tilak, you are creating a temple on your forehead and you are placing Gopinath on your forehead versus the 3-line tilak is not the same. So therefore we have to place Vaishnav tilak. I'll bring up on screen what Vaishnav tilak looks like. So you have like this. So this is you creating a temple with that U and you clearing the middle. So this U like is the temple and the middle is you're clean and you're placing Gopinath there, and the bottom leaf that you create, that's Tulsi Marani. So you're offering Tulsi to the Lord's lotus feet. So this is the Vaishnav tilak that you should be doing, not the 3-line which are horizontally made on the head. Chandar?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Please.
All right, so we will now discuss the 10 offenses against chanting the holy name, what Janisha was asking. These are the 10 offenses. So the previous offenses, they are seva aprad. We do those offenses, and if we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then we get some relief. But these 10 offenses, if you do these offenses, then there isn't really much of a relief. Although for each one of them, I will describe brief remedy that I have heard from previous acharyas. And our goal should be to not do these offenses rather than trying to find a remedy. Samma will read whatever is highlighted from the screen.
The chanting of Hare Krishna is beneficial for eradicating all sins, but if one becomes an offender to the holy names of the Lord, then he has no chance of being delivered. The 10 offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows: to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
So this number 1 of the 10 and the 10th offense, number 1 and number 10 catches everyone. It's blasphemy against Krishna and against Krishna's devotees. So Krishna says, I love my devotees more than myself. So when we offend a devotee, we are offending Krishna. Now this is a very common offense, but easiest to avoid. But it may seem hard to avoid because we like to gossip. So the remedy is, if I offend a devotee, then I have to fall down at his feet and ask for forgiveness. But generally pride comes in my way. Now, other point is that the other devotee may not want to forgive. So even though I may have sincerely fallen at his feet and asked for forgiveness, but the other devotee may not forgive, then what do I do? Then we take shelter of the holy name and we ask the holy name to forgive us, or you can ask Gopinath directly. And this is without playing games with the holy name. That you cannot just keep doing the offenses again and again, either to the same devotee or to another devotee. The same offense you do to the other devotee. Well, what was the point of asking for forgiveness the previous time? No, you have to be sincere. Now, if you offend pure devotee, the pure devotee will not get offended because he is pure. Still, Krishna takes the offense if you offend pure devotee. Therefore, we have to be very careful. Now understand that the one who is purer, it becomes easier to identify that you are doing an offense or not. So the solution for this is develop to see only the good qualities in others. Now everybody can see good and bad qualities. So even if you see bad qualities, don't focus on the bad qualities. Just talk about good qualities only. Now, if a devotee is actually humble, he will see his own faults more. And he will not even see the faults of others, even if the others are doing faults. So this is where we have to come to become humble and just focus on ourselves. That I am doing so and so thing wrong, rather than focusing on others' mistakes. focus on the good qualities of others and focus on the bad quality in my own self. The more we advance in devotional service, the more we will feel that I am an offender to others, even though I may not be doing offenses. And the more one is impure, that person will think that others are offending me all the time, whether or not somebody is offending. So you can judge your level of purity based on what you see in others and yourselves. So here's a question for you all. I'm pretty sure all of you will be scared. Oh, I don't want to offend a pure devotee. So question is, how do you know who is a pure devotee? Everybody? Anybody? How do you know who's a pure devotee?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, everyone except me is a pure devotee.
All right. Rest of you, how do you know who's a pure devotee? I got silence.
All the devotees are pure devotees.
All right.
Except me.
Okay. Rest of you?
To me, if anybody who respects Krishna is a pure devotee, it doesn't matter they chant or not, as long as they respect.
Okay. So respect is good, but pure devotee would always chant. So Monarch Prabhu and Chandan Prabhu obviously gave the correct answer that everybody is a pure devotee except me. So where's the question of distinguishing? Just respect everyone. Of course, Chandar is also right that somebody respecting Krishna, of course, he is an elevated person. Chandar?
Prabhuji, I want to bring this point here. There are people who are not in Hinduism, don't know Krishna, but they respect Krishna's statue or picture. They think it's so colorful and so beautiful.
Yeah.
So they respect that.
Yeah, and that's very good. So you also respect them. So and give them prasad. Give them some guidance if they don't know about Krishna. Talk about Krishna with them. That's good.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right. Now, we discussed that if you offend pure devotee, the pure devotee may not take offense, but Krishna will still take the offense if you offend a pure devotee. So question is, how many of you are scared to get closer to pure devotees because you may do offenses? How many of you? Anybody? Yes, no, silence. Chandar is afraid. Rest of you, how many of you are scared to get closer to pure devotee? Silence doesn't help me. Somebody say something. Janisha is also scared. Rest of you, I got silence. So you don't have to be afraid to be closer to pure devotees as long as your mood is to serve the pure devotees, then there's no problem. You are just doing service. So there's nothing to be scared about. All right. We'll continue. Next, Subhash Prabhu will read the next point highlighted on screen.
Hare Krishna. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu.
So both points you have to understand that demigods such as Shiva and Brahmaji, they are not equal to Lord Vishnu and they are not independent also. And if you do this offense number 2, the remedy is to give up the association of demigod worshippers. I will continue, and if somebody has questions, you can raise your hand and ask the questions. Janisha will read number 3.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
So spiritual master is at the same level as Krishna. Spiritual master is manifestation of Paramatma, live is live manifestation of Paramatma. So if you disobey spiritual master, means you are disobeying Krishna, because spiritual master is representing Krishna. So spiritual master, when he gives you instructions, means spiritual master is also empowering. And our most severe offense against chanting the holy name is to consider the spiritual master as ordinary person. So if you do this, then the remedy is that you fall at the lotus feet of your spiritual master, beg for forgiveness and become pitiable. Be sincere and repent and do service to your spiritual master. All right, we'll continue reading. Janisha will further read number 4.
To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version.
So Vedic literatures, original Vedic literature such as Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Vedas, Upanishad, etc. To blaspheme, then it becomes an offense. You are neglecting. So for example, if you are not going to a class because you don't like the speaker, well, that actually becomes an offense against the scriptures. And if you are speaking scriptures are fiction, or if you are speaking against the scriptures, all that becomes an offense. And if you do this offense, then the remedy is to chant and glorify the scriptures, hear and preach the scriptures, that even if you don't like the speaker, you still go to the class anyway, because what you are first respecting this the scriptures. Of course, you are respecting the speaker also. Questions, comments, realization so far? Subhash Prabhu, next.
Sorry, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination.
So imagination means made up or not real. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra is real with full potency, with full spiritual potency. Therefore, we don't have to just imagine that we are just chanting something without any meaning. No, there is meaning to it. Samma, next one.
To give some interpretation on the name of the Lord.
So mundane interpretation of the holy name. Mundane means ordinary or material. And Krishna's another name is Adokshaja. Adokshaja means something above material. So holy name has come directly from the spiritual world. If you do this offense, then the remedy is that you go to the assembly of devotees, you repent publicly that I thought that the holy name was mundane. All right, Ritu.
To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. It should not be taken that because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reaction. One may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. Hare Krishna.
So this is a very dangerous offense number 7. that trying to commit sinful activity on the strength of holy name is like an elephant taking shower and then coming out. Shower as in he is going into a river and bathing and then coming out and then rolling again in a mud. Now, if you do offense number 7, then you cannot really purify yourself. You do this offense number 7, then the remedy is that you shout for help. Just as, say, if a robber comes to rob and a person shouts for help, similarly, pure devotees act like guardians. So ask Krishna for forgiveness. Ask forgiveness from devotees and increase your devotee association to not do this offense. Questions, comments, realizations? All right. Raksha?
To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna, one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, Karma Kanda. Hare Krishna.
Ritualistic activity means karma kanda, that you are doing something for results because they get you material results. Now, chanting is the means as well as chanting is the goal. In karma kanda, the activity is the means and not the goal, but chanting is the means as well as the goal. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra only gives you spiritual results, not material results. Now, if you do offense number 8, the remedy is that approach a householder Vaishnava who was originally a low caste person and smear dust from his lotus feet on your body, drink water from washing his feet, and take remnants of his prasadam. Priya Darshini?
Hare Krishna. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name, anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning, one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. Hare Krishna.
So to instruct faithless is actually an offense. Now, all the book distributors will obviously have a question here. Now, Srila Prabhupada also instructed faithless people at the start. Did he commit an offense? So, Nectar of Devotion and all scriptures says that anyone can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Just don't get into the details, specifically the personal pastimes of the Lord. And actually, if you try to preach and distribute, it actually is an offense because they are faithless people. But because you are serving in the mission of the Lord's mission is to get everybody back home to Godhead. Because you are serving in the mission of the Lord, the higher principle comes into play, and therefore it does not become an offense. But still, when you preach to newcomers or faithless, or just you go knock any door, you don't know whom you are preaching. So talk basic things. Hare Krishna Mahamantra or suffering or you are a soul. Talk basic. Don't go into personal pastimes of the Lord with the gopis and his pure devotees. Just talk basic things, and therefore the instruction for this number 9 is that anyone can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Anyone can know basic points, and then you are okay. Questions, comments, realizations? All right, so last of the 10 offenses. Let's see, follow me. Follow me.
Sorry, Prabhu, I just changed my speaker mode. Sorry, I'll read it. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Hare Krishna.
So as I said, number 1 about blasphemy and this number 10 about material attachments catches everyone. So why this offense number 10 happens is because I'm not committed to spirituality. And the remedy is that you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in association of devotees. The other reason why offense 10 happens is I'm lazy. The remedy is, again, associate with advanced devotees. Another reason is distraction. And the remedy is avoid external distractions and continue to chant even if you fail, because failure starts when you stop attempting. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a prominent acharya in disciplic succession, he has said that distraction or attraction to others is the root cause of inattentive chanting. Distraction in chanting leads to craving for wealth and woman, etc. And this is how one loses his taste. So Janisha, you started by this inquiry about what are these 10 offenses. We discuss all of them. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Questions, comments, realizations. So we discussed the philosophy. We'll discuss practical points, but I will pause here first. Chandar?
Prabhuji, can you clarify a little bit what comes in cleansing and what comes in pure stage? Like how we can see which level we are and how far we are, I am actually.
So if you have turbulences in your life and you get affected by it, well, you are definitely not at pure stage. Pure stage means you are cruising. So initially, forget cleansing stage. I am at offensive stage. I am committing the 10 offenses against chanting, some of them, not all. So I have to be first conscious of the first stage, which is the offensive stage, rather than first saying what is the next stage. So yes, it's a very good question to know what is my next stage and next stage. So Chandra, tell me, whatever number of rounds you chant, I don't need to know the number. Whatever number of rounds you chant, what do you do after you finish chanting those number of rounds? Even if it is 1, what do you do?
Prabhuji, tell you the truth, I chant in the morning and then in the evening, but after I chant, my tears comes. I don't know, is it cleansing or is it crying?
So tears is cleansing, but my question is, what do you do after you finish your chanting, whatever number of rounds you are chanting?
I do my own, I light the diya and after that, I just do my exercises a little
Yeah,
bit.
you're back to your exercise. You're back to your routine, right? So pure
Yes.
devotees, they don't stop at 16 rounds. So they continue chanting 24 hours a day. That's the pure that's a pure level. And I also described about offenseless chanter. So we first have to come out of offensive chanting. The symptoms of offenseless chanter are that he is humble, he is tolerant, he is prideless, and he gives respect to others. Are these some pointers that help you, Chandar?
Yes, Prabhuji, but how about like we have to go through our daily routine, right?
Yeah, you have to go through your daily routine. That means you are not at pure stage. Right? So unless you dovetail your day-to-day activities into Krishna consciousness and make your 24-hour day as Krishna conscious, you don't have to change your activities. You just have to dovetail and make your entire day as Krishna conscious, then you are a pure devotee.
Yes, I am in the process.
Yeah, in the process
Thank
is
you.
very good. Nothing wrong with it. So don't beat yourself up. You are in the process. I'm in the process. Many of us are in the process. Nothing wrong with it. We just have to be conscious that I have to reach my goal of pure chanting, because only pure chanting will grant you Lord's lotus feet and Lord's love of God.
But I just want to bring this here. When I chant, it's really connecting. There is something is really powerful, actually. It's very meditative and very connecting. And sometimes I don't know where I am.
Yeah, very good. So as long as you are able to hear your chanting and meditate on the Lord, that is very good. And you just continue and you keep getting purified by this process.
Thank you.
All right, so let's discuss practical aspects. So we discussed all the theory part. Let's discuss practical aspects. So everybody work with me, answer quickly so that we can cover. There's a lot to cover yet. First question is, what to do if you commit an offense against anybody? Everybody quickly.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Archana.
Yeah, we have to go to the devotee and ask for forgiveness.
Okay. Monarch.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, same. We should ask for the forgiveness, and at the same time we can ask for the minimal service that we can do for the devotee.
Okay. Rest of you, what will you do if you commit an offense? Okay. Ritu also says ask for forgiveness. Hare Krishna, everybody work with me quickly.
Prabhuji, ask for forgiveness and then don't repeat the same mistake again.
Yeah, very good. Don't repeat. Okay, very good. I'll come to that very soon. Chandar.
Prabhuji, I will first clean myself, like first start chanting
Okay.
before I talk to the devotee.
Yeah, hold your thought. So here's an example from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4, that Durvasa Muni offended Amrish Maharaj. So you can take a snapshot. I will not read these verses. It's just that explain that Durvasa Muni offended Amrish Maharaj. Amrish Maharaj is pure devotee. And then what Durvasa Muni did, so Durvasa Muni is very powerful, that, so these verses continue, which is 63, 69, and 71, explain the same point about offenses. And Durvasa Muni is so powerful that when he offended Amrish Maharaj, Sudarshan Chakra came to kill Durvasa Muni. But he's so powerful that he is able to run all the way to Vaikuntha, to Narayan, to Vishnu. And he asked for forgiveness from Vishnu. And Vishnu said, no, I cannot help you. But Durvasa said, I am asking forgiveness from you. Durvasa, you should forgive me. And Vishnu says, no, you have offended my devotee and I live in the hearts of my devotee. And my devotees live in my heart. I cannot help you. You have to go and ask for forgiveness from my devotee. So Chandar's point that she will seek forgiveness by chanting holy name, that's not your step number one. Your step number one is that you ask for forgiveness from the devotee whom you offended, and the devotee has to forgive you. And this is further explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 5, where Durvasa Muni's life span, that he came back and he fell at the feet of Amrish Maharaj, and then Amrish Maharaj instructed Sudarshan Chakra to spare the life of Durvasa Muni. So here's a question for you all. Don't you always say sorry in the material world and again do the same mistake? Yes, no, everybody work with me quickly, please.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Many
Prabhuji.
times, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So what's the value of your sorry? If you do the same mistake again, what's the value of your sorry? And similarly, if you are asking for forgiveness from a devotee and you end up, say, doing the same offense to the devotee or the same offense to another devotee, what's the value of your asking forgiveness? Is there any value? Yes, no?
No problem.
So what's the solution? How are you asking for forgiveness not just as a lip service? How can you make your forgiveness as sincere? Somebody can think of? Yeah, so Ritu says not to repeat. Okay, I understand not to repeat. But we discussed that I say sorry in the material world again and again. Or Paulami says change the action. But how? No, that doesn't help me here. How do I say sorry in a real, meaningful way to the devotee to whom I have offended? Being conscious of your mistake is a good starting point, but I want to say sorry in a real, meaningful manner. How do I do this? So Monarch Prabhu actually already answered this, that when you ask for forgiveness from the devotee, simultaneously also ask to do some menial service to this devotee. You will serve the devotee only if you are sincerely sorry. If you only have lip service, oh, I am sorry, and in your heart you still have a grudge, well, then you won't be able to do that menial service to that devotee. But to show that you are sincerely sorry, ask for some menial service and do some menial service. Whether the devotee gives you such service, that's a different story. Now, this is another point, that if it's a pure devotee to whom you have offended, and you go and fall down at his lotus feet and ask for forgiveness and say, let me do some service, the pure devotee will say, I have not taken the offense. There is nothing for you to serve me. Go and serve Gopinath. So that's a very good sign. So you know that it's a pure devotee. You recognize a pure devotee. Or other devotee, if who is not a pure devotee, and you say, let me do some service, and this devotee will say, let me take advantage of this, and starts telling you to do so many things. Well, okay, you do little bit of service and then stop. So you have to be you can judge accordingly both sides. Questions, comments, realizations? Gauri.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So if a person gets offended, does it mean that that person is angry?
So depends on the devotee. Pure devotee will not even take offense, even if you have actually done an offense. Still, you go and ask for forgiveness and you ask for menial service because Krishna still takes it as an offense. Now, if somebody becomes angry, well, that isn't really a very good quality in a devotee. So you focus on whether you have done an offense or not. You do your part, what you are supposed to do. That you ask for forgiveness and you ask for menial service. If the other person, or if it's a devotee, he becomes angry, well, that's not a very good quality to begin with. Sorry.
Hare Krishna.
Now, Janisha's question is it for devotees or for everyone? So I already described that everyone is a devotee except me. So it applies to everyone. Janisha?
You got it, Prabhuji.
All right, next question, everybody answer. So first was that you had done an offense. Now the second question is, someone else commits an offense against you. What will you do? Everybody quickly answer. We have to finish allotment things. Hare Krishna, everybody. So somebody commits an offense against you. What is your action? Tara?
Prabhuji, don't take an offense. Just look at their positives.
All right.
Forgive them.
Okay. Okay. Many of you in the chat are saying the same point, that you tolerate and you ignore. So very good point. Normally, the normal response is that you will forgive that person. Now understand that if you forgive that person, that means you already took the offense. And that's why you are trying to forgive. So don't go even on the forgive part. Just don't take the offense. Because if you take the offense, then the devotee who has done the offense gets the negative implication. So don't even go about forgiving. Don't even take the offense at the starting point. Where's the question of forgiving coming into place? And the direct reference for this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, where Parikshit Maharaj, a pure devotee of Krishna, got cursed by a Brahmana boy. And Parikshit Maharaj did not counter curse, did not do anything. He just accepted the curse. Even though it was incorrect, he just accepted the curse, and that's the learning for us. Monarch Prabhu, if you can please read faster pace from the screen, 1.18.48.
1.18.48, the devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. Purport. Rishi Samika also knew that the Lord does not forgive a person who has committed an offense at the feet of a devotee. The Lord can only give direction to take shelter of the devotee. He thought within himself that if Maharaj Parikshit would counter curse the body, he might be saved. But he knew also that a pure devotee is call-outs about worldly advantages or reverses. As such, the devotees are never inclined to counteract personal defamation, curses, negligence, etc. As far as such things are concerned, in personal affairs, the devotees do not care for them. But in the case of their being performed against the Lord and his devotees, then the devotees take very strong action. It was a personal affair, and therefore Stamika Rishi knew that the king would not take counteraction. Thus, there was no alternative than to place an appeal to the Lord for the immature boy. It is not that only the Brahmanas are powerful enough to award curses or blessings upon the subordinates. The devotee of the Lord, even though he may not be a Brahmana, is more powerful than a Brahmana. But a powerful devotee never misuse the power for personal benefit. Whatever power the devotee may have is always utilized in the service towards the Lord and his devotees only. Hare Krishna.
The last point is very important. The powerful devotee never misuses the power for personal benefit. Whatever power the devotee may have is always utilized in service of the Lord. And the key point is, devotees are never inclined to counteract personal defamation. Questions, comments, realizations? All right, so we discussed two scenarios, that you committed offense, somebody committed offense against you. Now here's a third scenario, that what will you do if person A commits offense against a devotee and or against Krishna, meaning you are a third person. Then what will you do? Everybody? Somebody who knows?
Prabhuji, if I know that person, then I can discuss with him or her.
Otherwise?
Otherwise, better to be quiet.
All right. So understand, you are a third person, meaning not always you will know the person. So what's the remedy here, or what's the solution here? Yeah.
We
Monarch
can take
Prabhu,
him to a senior devotee, Prabhuji.
all right. Monarch Prabhu says we should leave the place immediately unless we can counter with appropriate scriptures. Okay, very good. Rest of you, how many of you want to know the answer?
I think we should just avoid confrontation if we don't know that person.
So, Samma, if you have your family members, immediate family members, and somebody does something wrong to your immediate family member, whatever be the relation, will you act or not act? Samma?
If it's my family member, then maybe I would gently remind that person. But yes, I will not be like, I won't confront that person or be rude. And also, I think I will just avoid to be judgmental about that.
All right, very good. So similarly, we are trying to revive our relationship with Krishna. So if somebody is blaspheming Krishna, well, we have to do something. If I have a relation with Krishna, or I'm trying to develop a relation or revive my relation with Krishna, well, then I have to do something. Anybody else?
Prabhuji, I would get angry.
Then what's the difference between you and others if you also become angry? Diksha, read Bhagavad Gita 16.21 translation.
Prabhuji, will you give me a minute?
Yeah. In the meantime, rest of you, anybody wants to try? So we'll let Diksha read 16.21, and then we will come to the solution as to what we have to do.
16.21. There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed.
You
Every
wanna,
sane man
yeah, continue, finish.
should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul.
Right? So
Hare
these are three gates leading to hell: lust, anger, and greed. Do you want to become angry, Diksha? Do you want to go to
Not
hell?
anymore.
So here the solution that Monak Prabhu and Ritu briefly answered correctly. Of course, Sama also. So there are, if you are a third person, when person A commits an offense against a devotee and or Krishna, you have three choices. That one should be so expert so as to defeat the opposing party. This is the best way. So this is what anger you have to use. So anger against somebody committing offense against devotee and or Krishna, anger does not mean that you become so angry that you lose your own control. Rather, anger here, what you have to do is you have to defeat the opposing party on the strength of scriptures with the intent to bring that person closer to Krishna. Now, if you become angry, what Diksha was saying, well, it's going to not help anybody, not you, not the other person. The other person is not going to come closer to Krishna. So anger is okay to use, but you need to know how to use anger. So you have to become angry on the person, but anger does not mean you are blaspheming that person or shouting at that person. No. What you have to be able to do is, based on the scriptures, defeat the opposing party, that why his actions are incorrect and what's the remedy for him, so that you can bring him closer to Krishna. The second option is you should give up your life, commit suicide. Now, the second option, devotees should not adopt this option. You should choose the third option, which Monak Prabhu correctly pointed out in the chat, that you leave the place and you go away. If you cannot defeat the opposing party based on scriptures, well then don't listen, just go away from there. Everybody with me? Questions, comments, realizations? Diksha, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we have discussed a lot of heavy points. And here's my question for you all. So on a go forward basis, you will notice some devotees or many devotees committing offenses from what we have discussed from the laundry list. My question to all of you please try to answer. When you notice anyone and everyone committing offenses, do you correct anyone and everyone? Everybody, please answer.
No, Prabhuji.
Why not?
Hare Krishna.
Mansi?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, unless and until that person is close friend of mine or a close relative, I won't tell
Okay.
anyone.
Okay. Priya said no. Why no?
Until and unless one reason is the same. Until and unless I know the person, and if I don't have any scriptural reference, I'll not be able to
Okay.
clear the.
Right. So scriptural reference is that it's okay. You may not know right away, but you may know that there is some scripture and you can bring up the reference later. That's okay. Rest of you, Dara also says same as Mansi, that unless I have close relation. Okay, Janisha says not to strangers. Why, Janisha? Then how will people learn, Janisha?
Since um, I don't know, but I don't
So,
really talk to strangers, so I won't correct them if they
so
do any
your
offenses.
Janisha, your point is correct. I was just trying to be devil's advocate, but I will explain all of this.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Archana?
Prabhu, we don't want them to go away from Krishna, so will be not.
Okay. So very good points many of you have said about relationship. We have discussed in our Bhagavad Gita at the very start that what is freely available, advice is freely available. And if you try to correct someone and say if they are in a temple room and they end up becoming angry or they chastise you back that who are you? Why are you telling me? Who asked you for advice? Well, actually that becomes an offense, a bigger offense that they are chastising somebody in front of Gopinath. So relationship is very important, that you don't go and correct anyone and everyone. You recognize whether you have relationship or not, and then you can tell them. And even though you may have relationship, understand that don't give them advice in front of Gopinath in the temple room. Take them away out of the temple room on a side and then explain to them that you have studied so and so, and this is a potentially an offense, so we should try to rectify ourselves. For strangers, instead of telling them you are doing an offense, what you can tell them is that there is a Bhagavad Gita class or there are Bhakti classes where we learn the process and various rules and regulations. You can consider to come to those classes and you will learn a lot more. That's the approach you can take, rather than just letting them continue to do whatever they have been doing. Everybody on the same page? Janisha, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
So what I said at the start, that we don't have to be afraid of these offenses. Rather, to avoid offenses, we have to be conscious of Krishna and Krishna's devotees, and we have to be respectful to Krishna and Krishna's devotees. I will also repeat the symptoms of offenseless chanter from Sikshastakam, that one who is humble, one who is tolerant, one who is prideless, and one who gives respect to others. These are the symptoms of offenseless chanter. So I don't know about you. I'm pretty sure I have done many offenses, or even when while we are in class and I'm looking at my phone and internet, all those are offenses because I am inattentive. So I will bring up on screen the Vaishnav Pranam prayer, and I request all of you to unmute and recite both the Sanskrit and the English translation with me, with the intent that on a go forward basis, I will not do offenses, or at least that's my goal, that I should not do offenses. When I'm in class, no, I need to have full attention on Krishna. I don't need to touch my phone. I don't need to browse internet. I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't need to disconnect and go do something else and then come back. No, this is the time I have carved out for Krishna, and I have to respect Krishna. We have also heard a short lecture from Chaitanya Das earlier that to respect Krishna means to respect the time we have carved out for Krishna. So I request all of you to please unmute and recite together the Sanskrit and the English translation. Everybody? Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa
Sindhu
sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha. I offer my
For my
respectful
respectful
obeisances
obeisances to
to
the
devotees.
Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, they can fulfill the desires of everyone just like desire trees. They are full of compassion for the fallen souls.
They are full of compassion for the fallen souls.
Thank you, everybody. We are just bang on 11:30 a.m. Toronto time. Are we okay to stop here?
Thank you,
Yes,
Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhuji, thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.